Hey everyone, today we're going to go over our second standard that we had in our list. It's called Affixes and Roots. So let's talk a little bit today about words. The English vocabulary includes tons of short words like the article a or the article the, but it includes longer words too, such as inextricably and denunciation. So how do we make such words? Well, short words such as speak and solve are called base words, and base words cannot be reduced to smaller parts, but we can add stuff onto them to make them bigger. And other words are made up of parts, so those words can be dissected in order to figure out the meaning. And that's what we're going to look at today. So what we have are two types of word parts. We have what are called roots and we have what are called affixes. A root is a word part that comes from another language such as Greek or Latin. An affix, on the other hand, is a word that can be attached to either a root or a base word to create a new word. And those affixes can be added at either the beginning or ends of a word. So that's how we wind up with these super long words, okay? And I'm going to show you something now that has to do with root words that's going to maybe make you a little bit crazy, but I want you to hang in there with me. I want you to get a little panicky and say, there's so many, Smitty. Let's go ahead and take a look here. So what we have here is a website called learnthat.org, and it's a really cool website. It gives us a list of all of the roots that we could ever possibly need to know from Greek and Latin derivatives. So let's take a look at this list here. Now you're going to see they have it alphabetized, so you can skip to any letter of the alphabet. Now this is where I might freak you out a little. I'm going to scroll down. There's a lot of root words out there, right? But I don't want you to freak out, because if you look closely at some of these root words, you're going to see that you already use a lot of these and you don't even realize it. For example, let's come down here to the root word CYCL, cycle. Now we all know bicycle, right? We all know circle, ring. Well, here we go. CYCL is a circle or ring. It comes from the Greek. And when you add something to that, like bicycle, you wind up with something that means a vehicle with two wheels. Cycle is a sequence that is repeated. So you already use this in a lot of words. You just didn't know that it had meaning beyond the word you were using it in. So let's scroll down to another one that might be familiar to you. And we'll take a look now at the root word. Let's look at extra. Extra or extro. We've all used the word extraordinary. Well, extra or extro is Latin, and it means outside or beyond. So when you use extra or extro in a word like extraordinary, it means beyond ordinary, extraordinary, beyond ordinary. Extraterrestrial means outside the earth. All right, so you're already using these, so this ain't no thing, but it is a great website to bookmark, and you should bookmark this now. It's learnthat.org, and it's the root portion of learnthat.org. Now let's get back to our slides and learn a little bit more about these roots and affixes. On this page, what you're going to see here are a list of root words that I thought were pretty common for some of the careers that we discussed over the past few days. So let's take a closer look at some of them. Let's come down here to bio. The root bio means life. Now, you all take biology, or you will at some point, and in biology is the study of life. You're studying life in bio. So anything you see with the root bio in it is going to have to do with the study of life. Let's come down here to derma. I'm sure all of you have been to a dermatologist, or you know somebody who's gone to a dermatologist. They're called a dermatologist because skin is derma. Okay? Derma is the root word that means skin. So epidermis is the outer layer of skin. A dermatologist is someone who studies skin. Let's come on down here to psycho. We all know what psycho means. We all know somebody who's a little bit psycho. We all know at least one psycho person. Well, psycho doesn't actually mean crazy. Psycho is a root word meaning mind. So psychology is the study of the mind. And down here I have one for Brandon, zoo, zoology. Zoo is a root word meaning animals. So zoology is the study of animals. Pretty easy stuff. Like I said, it's stuff that you already know. You just didn't know that it had meaning beyond the word that you were using it in. Now here we have affixes. Affixes are a little bit different from roots. Affixes are attached to roots to make bigger words. That seems easy enough, right? So we have a few common ones that I want to go over with you today. Prefixes come at the beginning of a word, and suffixes are at the end of a word. So if you put bi at the beginning of a word, it means two. So annual means year. If you say biannual, that means every 2 years. Anti means against. So if you put anti in front of something, it means you're against it. Inter means between. In means not. Pre means before, just like prefix. It comes at the beginning of a word or before the root word. Super means above. Trans means across. And dis means not. Now over here we have some suffixes. Now when you add a suffix to a word, that also changes its meaning. AL added to the end of a word means relating to. FY at the end of a word means to make or cause. IC is characterized by. IBLE or ABLE means able to, okay, capable, you're able to do something. ION is action or process. Ism is the state or quality of something. IZE is cause, treat, or become. And OUS is full of. Okay, so these are, again, words that are, parts that you're using already. You just didn't know that they have meaning. Now, let's just take a look at how this works when we bring it all together. So we have a Latin root word tang up here. Tang, T-A-N-G, and that means touch. Prefix I-N means not. And then over here, I want you to look at the suffix IBLE, meaning able to. Then I want you to come all the way down to the bottom of the page where it says apply. And under that, I want you to look to the left where it says prefix. We put in, I-N, which again, we saw up at top meant not. Tang means touch. That's a root word for touch. IBLE means able to. Now, if we put that word together, we come up with intangible. Now, let's add it all up. In is not, tang is touch, IBLE is able to be. So to be intangible means to be not touchable. Pretty easy stuff. All right, so it's easy to remember this if you remember also that there are word families or root families. So these roots don't only mean what they mean in the one word that we talked about. If you see solo or soli, solitude, solitary, solo, that means alone. And it's always going to be alone when you use it as a root word. That never changes. So let's try it for ourselves. Check yourself, hot shot. Diminish, diminutive, minimum. What do you see in there? I see M-I-N-I, M-I-N-U, M-I-N-I. That means, you know, from the word minimum, it means to reduce, minimize, or to have the absolute least, right? Minimum amount. Well, diminish, diminutive, because we see M-I-N in there, is going to mean something similar. So as long as you know mini means smaller, then when you see it in other words, you're going to be able to recognize the meaning of that word. So let's practice this. Ethnicity, ethnic, ethnographer. You may not know what an ethnographer is, but if you think, well, I know ethnicity is where someone comes from, so ethne must have something to do with be nation. So an ethnographer would do what? Maybe record the history of different nations. Word family, mania, maniac, maniacal. M-I-N-A-C, M-A-N-I-A is your root there. And of course, that means a little bit crazy. So down here we have answer C, madness. And down here is one that we already did, epidermis and dermatology. We see derma in here, and we know that derma has to do with the skin. So that's it, Lex soldiers. You know the drill. Keep them safe. Lock this information away and keep it safe. The only way to learn these roots, prefixes, and suffixes is to practice them. So be sure to bookmark that website I just shared with you and start practicing using these root words, prefixes, and suffixes to increase your vocabulary. See you at our live session.